Hello, everybody. We are here. We are live. We are coming to you live from the Outer Rim, various parts of the Outer Rim here. We've got one person on Dalna, maybe hanging out with Marta and Kevmo. Who knows? We've got one person, Faye, please don't be drinking your dinner tonight. Please don't.
I'm I am just chilling in its mouth.
Oh my. Oh my. That's for the after hours show later this evening. And we're
Yes.
already starting. And back from his ski chalet in the Poconos, it's Matt from the Ancient Armory.
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's going. It's going. Oh, we just lost both of our viewers.
Oh no.
Oh
They're just
well.
like, they're just like, oh god, not that guy again.
Here we go. It's already starting. We're talking about putting stuff in mouths and
Yeah.
So where
you're
were
the
we?
chosen one, donkey.
So where were we?
You were supposed to
Ah,
destroy
yes, a
Farquaad,
bit of
not join him.
It's over, donkey. I have the high ground. I got nothing. Oh, by the way, I got Balin's skull for my birthday.
Oh.
Yeah. He's actually really cool looking too, and he's
His
got
beard is perfect.
Yeah,
His
his beard
beard-
is like shaped.
his whole face sculpt is actually like really close.
Oh,
Yeah, that is pretty spot on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. And they gave him the orange lightsaber too. So that's
Ooh.
yeah,
Sorry, could you say that color one more time?
orange instead of
All right.
orange. Orange.
Orange.
There was like
I-
there was a hint of it in there where I was like, right, you are from
Okay.
Central Atlantic.
You are indeed from where you are from.
I
sir.
am
Yes.
I am a mid-Atlantite. I will say that.
I'm not judging, I just noticed.
I was born in Baltimore and or
Look,
Balmer.
I say bubbler. I have no skin in this game. I have glass houses.
So
It's
born
okay.
born in Balmer or Baltimore. And then grew up on the eastern shore of Maryland. So yes, I have kind of an eastern shore accent. It doesn't
I
come
promise
out
I won't
that much.
comment on it again.
It's okay. I'm just gonna say it just to annoy you now.
It's okay. I sometimes run across
it's-
I forget that I call certain patterns of weather weird things, like
Mhm.
haboobs.
Habibs.
Haboobs.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we all have our different things. Now, I will tell you this: the weirdest accent I've ever heard. Welcome to Accent Chat. By the way, this evening, the weirdest accent I've ever heard. It's that Philadelphia accent. Like that Philadelphia accent's like one of the weirdest accents I've ever heard. Matt, am I offending you right now?
No, I'm not familiar with that accent. So
Oh yeah. We got to go down and get some water.
the Balmer accent is similar to that, don't you know?
Yeah. Yeah, we're going down the harbor, get some water, don't you know? We're also going to go down the ocean this weekend.
Mm.
That's one
Which-
thing that people in Baltimore say, especially like from the neighborhoods of like Hamden and like all of these other ones. Like if you've ever seen Hairspray, that's
Oh.
Baltimore.
Although
Okay.
Hamden has turned into hardcore hipster territory.
Oh, it has. It really has.
Like
But Cafe
it's-
Hunt is no longer there.
didn't they? I was gonna say, didn't they revert like the minute that Gordon Ramsay was done with them or something like that? Yeah,
They did. It was awful.
I ate there with my folks one time after I graduated high school, and the having some burger with my grease was an experience.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Oh, No,
This
that's
okay.
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
This sounds like a place that I genuinely only order from if I'm very drunk.
It's
They had a bar attached to it, so
The
yes.
the one
Oh,
time that
That's
I
a good
know
business move.
that I consciously ordered from them, I then went to sleep because I was very drunk. Then I woke up the next morning to find it on my porch.
it was a restaurant that it was the kind of restaurant where the quality of food was like restaurant you end up at, not go to, trying to be a
Oh.
restaurant that you go
Yeah.
to.
So it's
Yeah.
like a Denny's.
Yes.
Oh, it's worse than
It
Denny's.
was like Denny's trying to be Chili's.
Yeah. It was like, so it was
And failing.
shortly after I moved back up here like 14 years ago. We decided we were going to do karaoke at Cafe Hun one time. The waitress got pissed off that I ordered a water because I was a designated driver.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, no, I'm DDing. I'm not gonna drink. Like, well, what you want, Juan? Nothing. Just water. I'm good. Water? Yeah. I'm good. Anyway, live show.
Anyway, where were we?
Where were we?
Dalna and a
Yes,
Drengir's mouth.
Downa, Drengir's mouth, no longer in a ski chalet.
No longer in my foyer of the house in the
yeah.
Hamptons.
Yes, remember that you
right.
had the baby grand piano last week too.
It was with genuine ivory keys. Yeah,
Yes. Anyway, yeah.
Aristocrats.
Uh,
Anyway.
so announcements coming up here. God damn it. Announcements. Okay. Yes. So no live show in 2 weeks as we are getting ready to go on vacation. But we're going to try to bring you a bunch of coverage from Disney World. I finally get to build my lightsaber.
Yeah.
Got my Savi's reservation. I'm super excited about that. We have an Oga's reservation afterwards, and we're going to close out Hollywood Studios and walk through an empty Hollywood Studios at like 10:30 at night. So I'm so excited about that. I get my fuzzy Tauntaun if I want one, or my Gold Squadron Logger. So there's that, but we're going to try to bring you a bunch of stuff from there. We are going to try to bring you some reports from the Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival because that is going on.
Oh, yeah.
They have some great topiaries this year, including a Groot topiary where he's holding up a mixtape and it actually plays music, apparently.
See, I knew the Drengir background was a good idea.
There you go.
I'm not going to take a guess as to what the lyrics are going to be because I might get it wrong.
I think it's all of the Guardians music.
Oh, okay. See, I was thinking like
yeah.
genuine Groot mixtape, and it's just like
it's just like it's just Groot doing karaoke.
It's like Kids Bop, but Groot's Bop.
Yeah.
Yes, Groot's Bop. Groot Bop. God, now we need to make that a real thing.
All your
Stop
favorite
giving
90s
Marvel
hits
marketing
sung
ideas.
by Groot.
Yes, it's all your favorite Marvel hits. It's all your favorite 90s hits sung by Groot. And a bunch of little Groots around him.
I am Groot.
Yes. I am Groot. I am Groot. I am Groot. I am Groot. Anyway, but we're going to go into some Disney news here in just a couple of minutes. We have Shore Leave coming up in July. Really excited about that. Greg Grunberg is going to be there. A bunch of Stargate people are going to be there. A couple of Star Trek people. That is in Lancaster, Pennsylvania this year. And they actually opened up 2 other hotels, like room blocks in 2 other hotels, because the hotel that they were having Shore Leave at sold out very quickly. I also looked into possibly getting a room at the Cartoon Network Hotel for that weekend.
Oh.
$300 a night.
Dude.
But it was also right next to Dutch Wonderland. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
Dutch Dutch Wonderland is a theme park in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So, yeah. Anyway, so we have that, and then we have the big con, well, my favorite con, coming up in December. That's Ocean City Comic Con, so get ready for that. It's going to be 2 days this year, 2 days, but I won't be pushing that for a while. So there is that. Our RPG shows are coming back very soon. Leah, I don't think you heard this announcement, but I am going to tell you this. We are doing one massive crossover before the individual shows come back, and we are doing Republic Song Contest, hosted by Stevie Palps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not going to be a train wreck just waiting to happen.
Get ready for that. Get ready for Hiranta's porcine crooning.
Oh,
Yes.
yes! Gamorrean
Oh.
crooning, yes!
Yes. I personally need this.
Yes! I need this!
Paris
that a
is
cat?
obviously not going to be singing there because why would they ever want to step on a stage? But I do have a very fun character that I came up with in a
I
wild
don't
way.
know. Paris and Jedi Master Dan could probably do a duet.
I'm hearing a cat too.
Yeah, I'm hearing
That
a
is-
cat. Okay.
Lucrezia is very upset that I have been on the computer talking to people all day.
Oh.
I appreciate the name, and I also doubly appreciate the pronunciation. Those are both
Her-
points.
Her full name is Lucrezia Margherita Giovanna Di Durante, and her
Bless you.
her brother is named Cesare.
I love it.
There you go. All right. So let's get to some quick news, and then we're going to go into our main topic. Our main topic of the night is best entry points to Star Wars canon and legends that aren't movies. So we're going to be talking books, comics, and video games, as well as tabletop games. We got to include the tabletop games there. So we're going to be talking about that here in just a little bit. Let's get to the news now. So should we start with the good news or should we start with the bad news?
I'm always a fan of starting bad and then ending good.
All
there
right.
you go.
So the bad news is, sadly, because of all of the crap going on in the video game industry right now, the Respawn first-person shooter Star Wars game that they are working on has been canceled. So Respawn is no longer working on their first-person shooter set in the Star Wars universe. This was actually going to be the rumored Mandalorian game. And if any of you know, before Respawn did Jedi Fallen Order and Survivor, they worked on Titanfall as well as Apex Legends. So they are actually a first-person shooter studio first and foremost. Thoughts on them canceling this game?
Worry for my friends in the video game industry.
Yeah. Genuinely, that's the big thing because
Genuinely.
yeah,
Because like games get games and things, they get canceled, they get moved around, whatever. That happens. But my gosh, it is not a good trajectory that these video game companies are on, is it?
really not.
No.
Did they give a reason to the cancellation?
Well, I
Like,
didn't see one.
there's something about pivoting to focusing on like their internal IP projects and stuff.
It's that, and it's also due to like major layoffs happening in the company.
I wouldn't be surprised because we're still feeling the after effects of the kind of the overhiring that the tech industry did during the lockdowns, because unprecedented growth in tech because everybody was stuck at home on their phones and their computers. So I I'm disappointed, but
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm entirely surprised. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, these things
We'll see
happen.
where things land.
Yeah, these things happen. I mean, look at 1313. That was going to be a game that EA was working on, and then they even had an E3 demo for it, and then
Mhm.
they canceled the game. So, I mean, this happens. Joey and I were talking about it this week when they announced it, and it makes us a little worried about this strategy game that Respawn is working on that's set in Star Wars as well, because if they're canceling this shooter, they could cancel the strategy game too. But it also depends on how far along this project is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Do
would
you?
probably be hearing about the strategy game too around the same time within a
Yeah.
couple of months, because they probably want to announce those ending before tax season. Because canceled projects like this need to be written as tax write-offs, essentially.
hmm
Right.
Yeah, that's true. Matt, go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you think the release of Helldivers 2 had any impact on this? Because right now, Helldivers is really kind of stealing the spotlight. So if
No.
they tried to release a title on top of that, I mean, maybe they're
I
waiting
mean,
for the.
it doesn't seem like it was like anywhere close to done. So I don't think
No.
it's that.
Gotcha.
Mm.
It seems like it was still. I mean, like they hadn't formally announced really anything about it.
They just said they were
Um,
working on a shooter. That was it.
Yeah.
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 So like on the one hand, at least it's not a case of like we had a completely done, polished game and then canned it.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it's like, okay, so there were definitely people who were like set up for this to be their next couple of years of solid work, and then
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
not.
And if all we've got is just that they were working on something, I mean, it could have still just been an idea on a piece of paper, for all we know.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they still might have just had concept art for all
Right.
we know too. Like,
Yeah.
this could have been like very very early in development, because I believe they announced this shortly after we got confirmation for Jedi Survivor.
Mm.
So like we got the Jedi Survivor confirmation, and then they announced this one and the strategy game. So we knew like it was at least a few years out. Speaking of the Jedi franchise, they did say they were moving forward with Jedi 3. So Cal Kestis and company, we're gonna have more fun with Cal and Marin. That's what I like to call this series, fun with Cal and Marin.
Fun with
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
Fun.
Fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Fun.
It's all fun. It's all fun and games. Nothing bad ever happens.
No.
Nothing
no,
bad
yeah, no.
ever happens to the Castises.
No, never.
It is a comedic romp through a galaxy far, far away.
Why doesn't that villain have a life bar? Where's the health bar?
Where's that health bar?
Where's the health bar? Guys.
Actually, the next game is actually going to be about Rick the door technician. Respawn has
Oh
confirmed that.
yeah.
It was that kind of like how we saw Matt the Star Killer base.
Yeah.
technician.
Yeah.
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 You
Which
know
I've-
he's getting his own show.
Can we just talk about how amazing it is, the impact that Matt the radar technician has had on Star Wars canon? The
Yes.
fact that the
Didn't that
technician
uniform?
uniform, it is, yeah, that uniform did show up in Resistance. It is a canon
right,
uniform
yeah.
for First Order technicians.
No, that's right. It was on the First
Fantastic.
Order Star Destroyer too. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. What an impact that character has had.
Yeah, now we have Rick the door technician.
Now we have Rick the door technician.
Who
You
was
know what
the
we need? You know what we need in Phase 3 of the High Republic is we need like Jim the Path Engine technician.
Oh yeah, just some random dude working a path engine. Like it's just like, I got this, I'll protect the engine, and then just gives up like mid fight. Not even gives up mid fight, just gives up as soon as the lightsaber activates. Like done.
Alternatively, Marcion Rowe has to go undercover boss.
as Jim,
In that
the
case,
path
he's
technician.
obviously going to be Mark, the path engine.
Yeah, Mark the path engine technician, and then it's just the ghost of Mari Santeca just yelling at him like the entire time.
Okay, she deserves it. She was
Yeah,
stuck in that
deserves it.
pickle jar for
She
too
does.
long.
She does. Yeah, it's actually Lorna
Stuck in the
D
pickle jar.
just yelling at Marky on row. I need my muffin, Mark. I need my muffin.
And that's the entire game.
Yeah,
Yes.
pretty much. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah. Yes. Created by George Lucas. So that game's been canceled. I'm not making light of this because it really does suck.
Yeah.
Because you have a lot of hardworking people on it.
Mhm.
We still don't know what this means about the other Star Wars game that we do not talk about because we don't know what that's going on.
At this point, I just presume it's been quietly shelved.
I hope so
Yeah.
because of the fan backlash, honestly.
What game was this?
It was Eclipse. We don't talk about it.
Yeah.
We don't.
Got it.
It's like Bruno. We don't talk about it.
It's like Bruno, except we actually don't talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. Bruno we like to talk about.
Bruno, we've got a whole literal song and dance for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But
Someone has decided
let's-
to knock things off the desk, so she gets to be in the
That's-
lap.
That's awesome. So let's turn to positive video game news here. And
we like
we're gonna
positive news.
yeah, we're gonna speculate something here. So our buddy Ahmed Best decided to troll us all on Instagram by sending us all well, he posted this on Instagram of him in a mocap suit saying, "Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in," with the hashtags Star Wars, Jar Jar Binks, Keller and Beck, Sith Lord, and Activision.
Oh no.
This is how we get Darth Jar Jar.
This is how we get Darth Jar Jar.
Darth Jar Jar, yes.
So my question to you is, if Activision is working on a Star Wars game, number one, how did we not know about this? Because you would think Activision would probably announce if they were working on a Star Wars game. And number two, is he just trolling us because Call of Duty Gulf War comes out this year, or Black Ops Gulf War, I should say? So is Ahmed Best playing a character in Call of Duty Black Ops Gulf War?
Both are genuinely like solid like options because like he does
Even your categories.
yes, even my categories. But like I do think that without it would be weird to be hearing for the first thing from like actually like in production stuff where they have like usually we find out about these sort of games while they're still in like storyboarding or like get in early concept sort of stuff. So it's very strange to be hearing this for the first time when they're finally getting actors in there. So I think it's most likely him just playing with us. But I really want him to be in more Star Wars because he deserves so much better than what we gave him.
He does. He really does. Leah, you were about to say something.
Yeah. I'm mostly of the mind leaning towards the second
Call
option.
of Duty.
Call of Duty or something else.
Yeah.
Just because I don't know, I wouldn't put it past him to just use whatever hashtags are associated with him.
Yeah.
And I don't know, always fun to troll people on social media.
It is. It really is.
But yeah, like, I mean, I'm happy either way.
Yeah.
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 I don't know. Insufficient data for a meaningful answer.
Oh,
is
yeah.
really my
Yeah.
is really my takeaway from it.
Oh no, it is. It is. Because like we could be like, oh well, Activision, like Faye, you said, like Activision would announce if they were working on a Star Wars title, especially if they had
Yeah.
actors attached to it. Matt, your thoughts?
So I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being some kind of collab thing where it ends up being like Star Wars skins for Call of Duty. You know,
Yeah.
I could, and I'm not going to take credit for that. I'm seeing that in a comment on the Reddit page about this that I looked up just this second. So I don't have like super predictive powers or anything like that. But I wouldn't be surprised. Like real talk, if it was a Star Wars game, he probably wouldn't be allowed to say anything about it, and they probably wouldn't have been able to
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
do what he did. So like that he's teasing about it means it's probably not Star Wars, unless Activision is pulling some sort of like 4D chess with us or something. I don't know. But it's like,
I mean, they could just be like, hey, we want you to secretly announce this game by like posting this mocap photo.
yeah.
Because
yeah.
it would be brilliant marketing for whatever game this is.
Especially because like we know the Star Wars fandom. We know how easy people are to just start hearing a vague rumor and spin things out of control.
Yep.
Star Wars fans do
Star
that?
Wars
What?
fandoms
No.
Say it ain't so.
No.
Okay.
Anyway,
I'm
did
talking
you
about
hear
my
that the Rey
Stokes days.
Skywalker movie was canceled for the 3rd time?
Oh my god.
I
We're gonna
had to
talk
be
about
the
that
voice of
soon.
reason in my college's Star Wars club so frequently that I'm like, this is why I was off Twitter for a solid bit of time. I was like, please, I already did this with a bunch of 20-year-old guys. Don't make me do it more.
Rey movie's been canceled.
I am so
The
sorry.
Rey movie's been canceled. The Rey movie's been canceled. No, it hasn't. Anyway, I hope Ahmed Best is actually in Call of Duty Black Ops Gulf War, because you know what?
Yeah.
I'd play the hell out of that game if he was in there, because
It-
I haven't played a Call of Duty game since Black Ops Cold War.
Yeah.
all I'm gonna say is that if I could get a Jar Jar skin in Call of Duty, I would buy the hell out of that and play the hell out
Oh,
of it.
yeah.
Multiplayer, and like you're just trolling people, just running around.
It would be great. Although I do think it would be really funny if what happened in Fortnite happened with Black Ops, where they accidentally spoil something for Star Wars.
They spoil the entire plot of the Rey movie in Call of Duty Black Ops Gulf War, and it's like 3 years away from the Rey movie even coming out.
Or they have a Jar Jar skin and his victory pose is him shooting Force lightning.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
It'd be amazing.
That would be so funny. So, yeah, we will see. But yes, I believe the next Call of Duty is Black Ops Gulf War. And that should be the November. It's either going to be the October or November release. I don't really pay attention too much to Call of Duty anymore, really, because honestly, those games are so repetitive. And honestly, the games are so freaking big now. You need like 300 gigabytes for your damn Xbox or PlayStation. Download the damn thing. I'm done. Ranting about it.
I get it. I mean, I no-lifed Modern Warfare 2 back in college, and that was the most that I delved into Call of Duty. I was always a Nintendo guy growing up, so like Metroid Prime was my jam. So when MagFest did a Metroid Prime themed MagFest this past year, I was over the freaking moon. But as a result, I'm not super up on Call of Duty beyond Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah. As you can see with like how much I do just sitting here like this, I'm like, I don't have time for video games a whole lot. So
and yet, Faye, you want to tackle Halo novels.
Yes, because apparently that's how I've decided to engage with Halo.
Okay. I mean, it's actually a great entry point.
I mean, to be fair, with Halo content, it's really easy to come full circle with it.
Yeah. I mean, actually, the novels are a great way of getting in. I was just
Yeah.
joking when I was just like, yeah, I totally understand
I mean,
because yeah,
considering my only other experience with Halo is watching Red versus Blue.
that's a great way of experiencing Halo, especially the Griffball sketch. That's all I'm gonna say. Some of us don't have hundreds of hours to pour into a video game like Baldur's Gate 3.
Look,
Look, listen.
I
I don't know what you're talking about.
I I work all day putting mud in a blender, and then
My God.
and sometimes you just want to come home
Oh yeah.
and kiss a Gith Yankee on the lips. Like
Valid.
Hey, goals.
I do that with
Goals.
my tab is dating Will, and sometimes I do just want to do that love for him.
I love Will. Look,
Baldur's Gate cast.
look, I'm a lesbian, but the men of Baldur's Gate 3.
The Bazel romance is also legit too. That's valid.
Yeah.
I guess I'm the only one here that hasn't played Baldur's Gate 3.
All I'm gonna say is that the 3 months of your life that you're gonna lose to Baldur's Gate 3 when you do play is completely involuntary.
I have
it's completely it just happens.
Yes.
I'm only
Well,
on
let me
Act
call
2.
my wife and
Oh yeah,
let
no,
her know.
I still have not finished my first playthrough because I got so sad about the concept of saying goodbye to the characters that I went back and started another.
It was
So actually, my first playthrough was my first playthrough was Romancing Karlach, but I kept getting TPK'd and I got tired of it. So I was like, I'm starting over. We're rebuilding the party from ground one, step one. Yeah.
I played the my last run through. I managed to get one of those no party limit mods to work, and Will ended up turning into an evasion tank. Like I got
Will is a shockingly good,
right?
Yeah.
Like I got his AC up to 20, and it was just like dex and clothing bonuses. Like it was, and he was actually really good. I was pleasantly surprised.
I love bringing Will into a fight. He's always.
You know what they say: where there's a will, there's a way.
Yep.
Get out.
Well, guys, this is the Ancient Armory signing off.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Zap.
Yeah. Anyway, so video games are a thing.
They are.
Yeah, they are. So let's move on here. So we're going to talk real quick about some Disney parks news real quick, and then we're going to dive into our main topic, and then we're going to talk about Dad Batch. So, Disney parks news. Like I said earlier, Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival has kicked off. It started this week. This is actually one of the longest festivals of the Epcot festival season. I think the shortest is actually Farts, which is Festival of the Arts, and then Festival of the Holidays. So I think those are the two shortest festivals. So in between, you've got Flower and Garden and Food and Wine. And then we've also gotten the Disney California Adventure Food and Wine Festival has started at Disney's California Adventure. So the menus are up for that as well. And so one of the cool things about Flower and Garden real quick is every year they do a scavenger hunt for every single festival. And so you have to find, for Flower and Garden, you have to find Spike the Bee throughout all of Epcot and World Showcase. This year's prize, if you find all of the Spike the Bee statues and you put them on the little map thing, you get a little mini cornhole thing for Flower and Garden, which I was like, you know what? Instead of getting a cup like they give every year, it's nice to have a cornhole thing. So there you go. We'll be doing that later. I'll shut up about Disney now. It's my magical place. It's my happy place. Yeah.
It's a good place to be.
It is a good place to be because you know what? Nothing goes wrong at Disney.
Oh yeah, no, never.
No.
I
Anyway,
can say that I have, unlike other places I've been, I have not gotten stuck on a roller coaster there. So
I
No.
will say Disney is the only place I've ever gotten heat exhaustion, and I wear wool in the summer.
so
I feel that.
speaking of getting stuck on rides, I did get stuck on a ride at Disney.
Oh no.
Which
I got
one?
stuck on Small World. Try listening to that on repeat for a very, very long time.
oh my god, I
Wow.
thought being stuck on a 90-degree incline was bad. No, that's worse.
It's
Yeah, I'll
Watching
take the
those
I'll take the heat exhaustion.
animatronic puppets staring at you.
I'm just picturing that moment from the Republic Fair. We are one, we are many, we are me, we are you. So much joy, so much love, so much peace. It's true.
I tried to get past that part of the book really fast because that's what it reminded me of.
I
Uh,
have never read that book at normal speed, so I only know like at 2 times speed.
Guess who flipped that page really fast?
skill, speed, and agility.
Yeah. Oh,
Do you
yeah.
think?
Yeah.
Do you think?
So,
Do you think around in the year and a half from there to Escape from Fallout, do you think that the animatronics were still singing, that the holograms were still singing? Do you think that
Yes.
They never shut 'em down.
Kildo and Gabby were walking through the Lonisa City Zoo and occasionally catching the sound of "We are one, we are many" in the distance?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's still playing.
Yeah. Deep in my heart, that is what I believe to be true. And it makes it really creepy. It makes it really
creepy.
So there's not a lot I wish on people. I definitely do not wish for anybody, not even my worst enemy, to get stuck on It's a Small World.
I wish it for Marcion
Hmm?
I wish it for Marcion Rowe.
Well, yeah.
Who is
him,
that?
yeah. He's the villain in
God,
this.
that would be the funniest possible ending.
He's just like rocking back and forth by the end of it.
He's like,
the nameless are going crazy. They've calcified themselves. Yeah. Meanwhile, Staros is the one that's behind the controls, just laughing.
Gira.
I need to make this happen.
Gira Staros. Anyway, Defy the Storm comes out in a couple days.
Yeah,
Defy
it comes out in 3 days.
Come out in a couple of days. I got sent my copy early from Barnes & Noble, so I'm really
I saw a couple people had. I ordered through Audible, so I will get mine on time.
I will get mine whenever I get mine.
So I actually started it. I'm just a few chapters in. I'm not going to give anything away, but it's interesting so far.
Vernestra's there.
Yeah, Vernestra's there. Or Vern. Every time I hear, I know, but every time I see the word Vern, I just think of Ernest P. Worrell. I just think of Jim Varney just being like, "Know what I mean, Vern?" Yeah. But no, so far it's really good. Avon is kind of the main character for chunk of it.
She deserves it.
Yeah.
She does.
And I mean, it's Tessa Gratton and Justina Ireland. It was always going to be good.
Yeah.
So if you liked what they did with Path of Deceit, you'll like Defy the Storm.
Okay.
That's
also, if you liked what they did with Path of Deceit, you'll like Chaos and Flame and its upcoming sequel, whose title I forget. Which are not Star Wars books, but they are good.
Yes, we love books here on the Beacon, regardless of what author.
Yes.
Like I said, I am this deep into my new Brandon Sanderson novel.
Yeah. Yeah.
We like books, as we can see from. Let me just pull out the stack that's sitting next to me.
So you want to see some of my to be read comic book pile too? After you show me some of yours.
So I'm doing. I'm back on my 14th century research. So we've got stuff
Very nice.
on the peasants' revolt,
Ooh.
community, gender, and individual identity.
Very nice.
Maintenance, because I have been really hardcore doing that as a research topic, and medieval Southampton.
Nice.
All
When I
right.
talk about research, I've got the reference that I use for pretty much all of my shield building within arm's reach right here. So because my bookshelf is literally right there. So it's I feel you. That's there's research books. I'm Faye, and I'm sure you probably feel this too. Research books help keep the whole reading fire alive for me, because it's like,
oh yeah,
Ditto for me. I mean, not like the same kind of research, like lab science research.
Of course, yeah.
Of course.
But yeah, you gotta mix some nonfictions in.
Mm-hmm.
It really does, like, because when you get to take the break and have some fiction, it just goes so much faster, because you're like, oh man, I'm used to like way clunkier language here.
Yeah.
But then also at the same time, when you're like, okay, it's great to get into something that's like real life, because at least I know vaguely how things work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am currently working my way through a fat stack of pulpy, tropey romance novels. So
that's right.
That's right.
You're doing the Harlequin romance, aren't you? With like the ranch hand with like 5 unbuttoned shirts.
My current read is 2 heiresses of Miami, of rival Cuban bakeries in Miami.
Oh my God.
Whose families hate each other because they each claim the other
it's
family
Romeo
stole
and
their
Juliet
recipes.
set in Miami with bakers.
It's sapphic Romeo and Juliet in Miami
with bakers.
With bakers.
Amazing.
And it's phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Cheers.
So
I'm just gonna come to you for
it's far from the most bonkers like romance scenario that I've read. I'd have to say my all-time favorite is Meryl Will's. Welcome to Leah Talks Romance Novels podcast. I'd have to say my all-time favorite is Meryl Wilsner's Mistakes Were Made, which is a college student and her best friend's mom who meet at a bar on family weekend.
And sparks fly.
What a book.
What a book.
So
what a book.
So I'll just go through a couple of things that I'm reading here real quick, or about to read. These are all in my comic manga to be read pile. I picked up a Spider-Man manga at the Barnes & Noble, Spider-Man Fake Red. And it's actually pretty good. Very, very entertaining. I'll just put you there for right now. If you love classic DC heroes, but with a brand new twist, actually, no, I'll wait for that. I've got the Oblivion Song Compendium that I still have to go through. That's Robert Kirkman's Image series. Let me put you back there. Actually, I'll put you there for right now. And then I love classic DC. I love Milestone Comics, which was an imprint for DC. That featured a lot of African American superheroes as well as Latino. It had a lot of LGBTQ plus characters and stuff from like the 90s and everything. Well, they got so for the 90s stuff, I'm reading this. This is Milestone Compendium number 2. It even crosses over with the DC universe, so I'm actually in the Worlds Collide event right now. But like this is like some of the artwork and stuff. Really cool. So like Static Shock came from Milestone.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then so they relaunched. So here's Icon and Rocket for the new one. Here's Hardware, who's pretty much Milestone's Iron Man and
Okay.
better. He's better. And then we've got Static.
Yes.
Yeah. So really, really cool reads. Yeah, now I gotta put my pile back together. Because yeah. And then I've got tons of stuff on top of that because I'm reading Radiant Black still, trying to catch up with that. And also trying to catch up with Power Rangers. So yeah. All right. So let's get into our main topic since we were talking about books and everything. Let's get into the perfect
Talk about
entry
everything
points.
else.
Yeah. Let's get into the perfect entry points for Star Wars. So we are actually going to start with Legends. We're going to do books real quick, then we're going to do comics, then we're going to do games, and then we'll dive into canon. Now, when it comes to tabletop gaming, you can either put it in Legends or canon. Honestly, I believe that the tabletop games can actually be in both categories, really, because they do borrow from both. So let's talk about books real quick. Matt, I know that you've only really read the expanded universe or Legends now. So I'll start with you, then I'll go to Leah, then I'll go to Faye. What are some of the ones that stood out to you as like great entry points?
So I don't know if this is a particularly good entry point for a new Star Wars fan, but if I had to pick a series of books that really stand out amongst the EU, it would be the Thrawn trilogy, no questions.
Yeah, I would say that's a decent entry point. Like a lot of people.
Yeah, because like Heir to the Empire really gives I think that the Thrawn trilogy is where we really start to see the muddying of the kind of the black and white tendencies of the original trilogy, right? It starts to add those shades of gray and that complexity that you see again in places like Andor that make the universe such a fascinating world to delve into. As far as entry points for me personally, I still say the best entry points are the original trilogy, 4, 5, and 6. Like my personal opinion, any new Star Wars fan should watch those first, then decide where they want to go from there. Because that's the core, it's the foundation. But yeah.
Okay. That's a pretty good one. Leah.
Yeah. So my entry point into reading the EU Legends, which I definitely would not recommend, being that it is a book that is almost certainly that I barely remember and is almost certainly too juvenile for like most people who are getting into the EU, was Legacy of the Jedi by Jude Watson, like from I want to say 02 or 03.
Wow.
I did not read it right when it came out, but
the cat agrees.
Feline golf protest.
But yeah, I mean, it really depends what you're wanting to get out of it. While I have not personally read the EU Thrawn trilogy, I know that is what a lot of people really enjoyed. But like, if what you enjoy in the movies and stuff is like the Jedi, there's and if you really enjoy like the original trilogy characters, you want to see more of them, but you also want to see more of the Jedi. Like between the New Jedi Order stuff, all the way through to the Fate of the Jedi series, any of those series, like if you get started with them, they do a pretty good job of setting up what happened before. You can fill in the blanks. And some of them are really, really well written, and I still enjoy the stories and stuff. Yeah, but I mean, it really depends on what a particular person wants out of it. Like, if you don't really enjoy or if you're not in it for, focusing on Jedi, Sith, that kind of thing, like, there are other stories that are for you. I've always been a Jedi person, so I went straight for those. But, pilot people, military strategy people, there's something first.
Yeah.
It was like decades and decades of writing.
Yeah.
I actually really liked what the new Jedi Order did with the Jedi Order, because like the one thing that I'm really like, I mean, I appreciate the direction that Disney's taken, taken kind of their take on the sequels in, but one of the things I really liked about the way that Legends handled the new Jedi Order was that, it was a Jedi Order that was learning from its mistakes and was seeking to, reform how Jedi approached the light side. And, sort of the like, it wasn't attachments that led to the dark side. It was the fear of losing them, but you could still have them as long as, you kind of walked that line, because like you had Luke marrying Mara Jade and having, having their kids and everything. And I thought it was a really cool take, because go ahead.
And it does seem like, especially in some of the, with how much the idea of like, to be a Jedi is not to love, it is to love and be able to let go.
Right.
How much they're pushing that in the High Republic and stuff. It seems like they're trying to go more in that direction, and it's really, it's kind of like, okay, so then why did we still have Grogu having to choose between all or nothing?
Right.
Can we pick a direction, please?
Yeah, the whole like hard reset back to exactly the way things were. I wasn't a fan of that. Like, I'll roll with it. I'm very easy to please when it comes to my cinema, but
Yeah.
Me too.
I do think that moment with Grogu is meant to show why Luke's attempt at recreating the Jedi does eventually fail, but like we'll see.
It's like is definitely a story to be told there with like, maybe he just doesn't think that it was the Jedi's own mistakes that caused the problem because he wasn't there. He did.
Yeah.
And it really does seem like no one wants to actually tell him about it. Like they just like to speak in riddles around him.
Yeah.
I've said this before. Just the entire original trilogy is just Yoda covering up his own mistakes.
Everyone.
That's also the entirety of the High Republic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. The entirety of the High Republic is Yoda sweeping shit under the rug.
What he does best.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I don't know. I'm withholding judgment on all of that until it all comes through. Because,
oh yeah.
We've had a decade to put this story together with like a movie every couple of years and then a lot of barely anything. With regards to that era. So like we'll see how that era builds up over time. I'm giving it room to grow. In the meantime, if you want to read about a Jedi Order that has whole different types of problems, the new Jedi Order series.
Yeah.
Like they still have problems. Not everything is, it's not paradise.
So
sorry, Matt.
No, go ahead.
To like see the new canon really develop its ideas. So we'll see more. We've definitely got a lot of publishing to come out.
Oh yeah.
As it goes with Legends, I still haven't started my Legends journey quite yet. I will say, if you are a Thrawn lover, I would start with Outbound Flight because that is one of the only Legends books I have read. I wanted to read it so I could understand a little bit more of the Last of the Thrawn prequel books, and it really enhanced that reading for me. I am doing the crazy thing with the Legends books is just like I did with my canon read through, I'm going chronologically. Which means I'm starting all the way back before even the Old Republic. with
Are you starting?
Dawn of the Jedi Into the Void.
Oh, that's a task.
This
That
is
is,
yeah.
yeah, that is a task.
I said I was a completionist, and I'm holding to that.
I for one believe in you.
So
You can do it.
So I've got a real quick. I got a buddy of mine. Actually, he's one of my best friends. He actually got me back into reading Star Wars books, like when he and I first met. Um, he has been going through. He just finished going through every Legends novel.
hmm
And he read them in chronological order too. Well, he didn't read them like he read them. Actually, no, he was reading them as they were kind of coming out, and then like he kind of got backed up a little bit, and then like had to keep going. But he just finished the final Legends novel, which I believe is Crucible, which is pretty much Han, Leia, and Luke just retiring at the end of the book, just being like, "Yeah, we're done."
They deserve it at that
yeah,
point.
yeah.
After how the last decade before that went for them.
After
Yeah.
dealing with the Yuuzhan Vong.
Well,
Like,
that.
Oh, that
and
was even
Aboleth,
before that.
Oh,
yeah.
But for me, I have a couple of entry points. Thrawn is a good one. However, Thrawn, I love Timothy Zahn to death, but he is very wordy. He is very wordy.
That is such a kind way of saying.
That is a kind way of saying it. I like the wordiness.
I do too, but I'm just saying, like, if you aren't used to it, Thrawn may not be the best for you.
That is always why with Outbound Flight, I preface like if you are a Thrawn fan,
Yeah.
Outbound Flight.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will say Darth Bane is a good one. I think Darth Bane's a good entry point. And I will also say, because I love these idiots so much, the X-Wing books are great.
I have heard wonderful things about those. It's going to be ages until I get to them.
Oh, it is, but Faye, they are so much damn fun. They are a lot of fun. New Jedi Order is good. However, Vector Prime is hard to get through.
I will say that there's a lot of chest thumping from the EU crowd, but a lot of those books are not as good as people remember them.
This
No.
is true.
This is something I am very aware of.
Yeah.
Ditto the
Part of why I'm
comics,
just like,
ditto the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have mastered the art of audiobook at 2x speed, which will help me get through some of the schlock.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm saying right now, because like a lot of people are like, "Oh, New Jedi Order is amazing," and then I was like, "Well, Vector Prime is not that good." I was like, "Vector Prime is not that good."
Also,
Dark Tide is great, but Vector Prime is not good.
Yeah.
Also, can we talk about the fact that, and by the way, spoilers for if anyone's planning on reading the Yuuzhan Vong books, the
They've
fact
been
that,
out for how long? Go for
right?
it.
Yeah, seriously.
Like 20 plus years.
Right. The fact that they have to find some like living planet thing in order to try and it's basically introducing a plot devicium in order to turn the fate of the galaxy. I mean, it's like the Yuuzhan Vong thing was cool. The Emperor Palpatine conspiracies around the Yuuzhan Vong are hilarious to entertain, but it comes back to the EU had its amazing moments and it had its not so amazing moments, and I think we're seeing just the same pattern but in different ways with canon.
Yeah.
It's got its really cool moments, it's got its all right moments.
It's hard to be at 100% all the time.
Oh yeah.
From everything that I've heard about the Yuuzhan Vong, I much prefer the shift to the Grisk.
Yeah.
They perform a similar narrative role, but I think the Grisk are conceptually more terrifying.
Yeah. The Grisk, Matt, are actually like the villains for the prequel Thrawn trilogy that's now in canon.
Really?
Yeah.
And also the
Those
Tron
are-
trilogy. They're doing things in the background.
Yeah.
I have my theories about the Grist.
So Zahn has written 6 canon Thrawn novels now.
Mhm.
3 of them are a full trilogy, and then 3 are a very, very loose trilogy that like take place within like 4 months of each other, pretty much, essentially. One of them is when Thrawn met Anakin. And so the one is about Thrawn joining
When Thrawn met Anakin and they went to Disneyland.
yeah, they literally go to Batuu. They literally go to
They
Galaxy's
literally
Edge.
go to Disneyland.
It is actually really good. It's
It's
actually
it's
quite
great.
good.
Wait, is
It's
that the?
part of
Go ahead.
it's part of one of my favorite genre of Star Wars books, which is
The buddy
Vader
cop?
reluctantly going on buddy cop adventures with different Imperials.
Because it happened in the Tarkin book too, and it was
And
amazing.
the Palpatine book.
It did. Yeah.
Vader and his little road trips.
I love Vader's road
Is
trip.
Vader the Prince Zuko of the Empire?
Yeah.
He is at that point, yeah. Yeah, and whoever he's with becomes the Uncle Iroh character, except for Palpatine.
Although I do like and obligatory spoilers if you haven't seen Kenobi. I do like the way Palpatine reacts at the end of the Kenobi series, where like Vader is just losing his mind and Palpatine's just there like, dude, you okay, bro? Like,
Dude, chill.
So anyway, so yeah, the first book is about Thrawn joining the Empire. The second book is about Thrawn and Vader trying to figure out a mystery of what's going on. And then the third book deals with Thrawn and testing his allegiance between the Empire and the Chiss Ascendancy. And then he wrote another trilogy, which is called the Ascendancy Trilogy, which is incredible, by the way. It's so damn good. It is, if you want politics in your Star Wars, those are the books to read because they are political as hell.
They're political as hell. Thrawn collects girl bosses.
He does collect girl bosses.
He's surrounded by them.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He's surrounded by them.
He really is. Now, technically, Samacro is a girl boss too. That's all I'm gonna say.
I love Samacro.
Yeah.
So quick side note. Every time I try to listen to the audiobook for the Thrawn Ascendancy trilogy and Samacro comes up, he sounds like Jack Nicholson.
Oh no, I think personally he sounds like, the audio clip of Colonel, I'm trying to sneak past the guards. My ass. He sounds like that.
Well, Faye, why would you make me think that? Faye, that's bogus. It's bogus to the 9th factorial.
It's so great though, because you'll have Samacro come up to Thrawn, he's like, Captain, are we gonna open fire, sir? And then Thrawn sounds like Jack Sparrow. Thrawn sounds like he's trashed the entire time. And I love Mark Thompson. I don't know
what you're talking about.
Yeah, but he's just like, maybe perhaps we should do another thing. And then Smacker's like, another thing, sir.
And then Aralani's like, launch the plasma.
Yeah. And then Aralani has like the weirdest accent ever.
I love Mark. The way that he voices
Mark.
female characters kills
I
me every
love
time.
Mark so much. Mark is amazing at these narrations because and he has Bakif sound like he's like scarfing down like his 8th chicken pot pie in a row where he's just like
They're incredible. I cannot recommend them highly enough.
No, they're amazing. They're amazing books. They're great.
Lots of harumps and jowl movements.
Oh
from the
yeah,
sound of
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
it's great. It's great. It's awesome.
Just imagining Thrawn as like an 18th century like Iron Fist like British commander,
Oh,
you know, like jowl movements and all, and it's
yeah.
just
So great. It's so great. Like
Oh my God.
like General Bakif's like Thrawn, and then meanwhile like Samakra's just like, I don't know what the hell's going on, Captain. Like, oh yeah, it's great. And then you've got Cheery, who's a Skywalker, which is a Force navigator. Actually, let's talk about canon because Thrawn trilogy is a great way to get into canon. That's all I'm gonna say.
It is.
It is actually how I started with the canon Star Wars.
How a
books.
lot of you, yeah.
Yeah.
If you watched Rebels and liked the blue guy, boy, there's a lot of blue guy to go around.
There's a lot of blue guy.
yes.
Yes.
Like,
my first question that I asked whenever any one of my friends asks me, what should I start with if I want to read more into Star Wars, is I genuinely asked, okay, what is your favorite piece of Star Wars and why? Because that is genuinely the best way to start.
Yeah. I usually, like, when people say that they're prequels fans, I steer them towards Master and Apprentice. And I also steer them towards the High Republic. I'm like, those are the ones that you want to read. Master and Apprentice is amazing. It is so damn good. I love just that story between I wanted to say Anakin and Qui-Gon, but Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. Brotherhood is another great one too.
Brotherhood is a great one. That's the one that I actually gave my dad to read.
The business on Cato Nemoidia.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And Ventress is in Brotherhood as well.
Ventress is in Brotherhood. A little bit of the look at Padme and Anakin's relationship.
Which I think they do. I think Mike Chen does a really great job at capturing their relationship.
Like, Brotherhood actually made me get a little bit more behind their relationship, because one thing that's not very hard to tell about me is I'm not a huge fan about Padme and Anakin as a couple. I don't.
What?
Yeah.
You mean they're not toxic together? What?
They are not couples goals?
But like, so I watched it and said, oh, I can see why they're like into each other like this. It took all of that time for me to see, yes, this is why. Because in my heart, I'm just like, yes, Padme is bi, and there are so many women she could date.
You know, because it's like if you go off of Attack of the Clones, you take one look at that, and it's like that's not love, that's a trauma bond. Like
it really is.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It is.
I would also say Alphabet Squadron's a good one to get into as well.
Especially if you like the pilots and just kind of like the little guys, the normal people. It's a great one to go into.
Like if you're just a big fan of the Rebellion.
Yeah, big fan of the Rebellion. It's a good one. I'd also say some of the Battlefront books are really good. If you like the Battlefront games, some of them would be good too.
Twilight Company is the best of those two novels. Twilight Company is so good.
Oh yeah. Reading Inferno Squad felt like I was reading it felt a whole lot like reading The Things They Carried.
Yeah.
Which is an excellent Vietnam War book. So I was like, this is perfect.
But Twilight Company is literally Saving Private Ryan in space.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And you get to see another one of Dexter Jettster's species just like quad-wheeled blasters on a battlefield and just like take people down.
We always love a basilisk.
Yes,
we always do.
Yes, a basilisk. And I would also say if you're a Rebels fan, you can always read A New Dawn, or I like to call it When Kanan Met Hera.
Yep. How I Met Your Mother.
How I Met Your Mother. instead of like Ted, Marshall, Lily, Robin, and Barney Stinson, it's literally Kanan and Tara.
Yep.
With Ray Sloan. We gotta love Ray Sloan.
I love Ray Sloan.
Yeah. Leah, you said you started with Aftermath.
Yeah, so my introduction to am I okay? My introduction to the
good.
canon novels was Aftermath because I read them as they came out. And like it definitely got me on. Now having everything that we do, I don't know if it's the best on board, but like it does tie into a lot of other things. It is a solid, couple books to read. But I think because this isn't one that we've really touched on, but like if people really like the sequels or like want more of that in canon, I would always recommend Bloodline.
Bloodline is amazing.
Yeah.
It does so well of setting up like how things happen.
Big notes, Matt.
Why things are the way that they are. In a way that the movies kind of gloss over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Faye.
Oh, I also really like Bloodlines because it again, Star Wars politics is my bread and butter, and so seeing the inter-party politics playing on and how like a lot of like some of the newer players in the New Republic political sphere were just like, oh yeah, I think I do X thing because I think it's cool, and then finding out that other people are doing this thing because oh no, they're still fascists is the
pretty much.
As a medieval reenactor, it's very funny to me because that is sometimes.
I would also say sequel trilogy wise, I'll knock 3 out right now. Phasma's great. Black Spire Outpost book is incredible. I mean, because they're actually sequels to each other. Yeah. And then I would also say Resistance Reborn is fantastic.
Resistance Reborn absolutely changed how I saw Rise of Skywalker.
It helps Rise of Skywalker a lot.
I'd also say Shadow of the Sith because again, it's one of those. Here's a great way of
between Shadow of the Sith and Bloodline. Those two books set up the sequels.
Oh yeah,
perfectly.
Because you start to see the rise of the First Order in both of those books.
Right. Yes. You see the rise of the First Order. You understand where they came from, what their deal is. You see, like, why Luke is the way that he is, why Leia is the way that she is.
And why Lando is how he is.
Why Lando is the way that he is. Yeah.
I want
very good books.
I want more sequel trilogy content, honestly. I want post-sequel trilogy content.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that we get more with the Rey movie coming up, which isn't canceled.
Isn't canceled.
I hold so much hope for that movie.
I think it'll be good.
I am gonna be like defending that movie with my life, probably.
I don't even care if it's bad. I'm defending it with my life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Even if it's bad, even if it is somehow bad,
it's still Star Wars.
Even if it is somehow bad, the people who are going to be saying it's bad the most online are not the ones who are actually having legitimate criticisms of it. They will be the ones who is saying a woman is there, so it's bad.
Yeah. So real quick, because of that, I like you, I am a sequel defender. I love the sequel trilogy. I really do. I think that they're so much fun. Rise of Skywalker is the weakest of the 3 movies. I will say that right now.
They're all deeply flawed movies.
Yeah, they really are. But Resistance Reborn really helps Rise of Skywalker, especially with the interactions between Snap and Wedge, because that actually helps drive home what happens in Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. But I will say this: I am a sequel trilogy fan. They're not being retconned.
No,
For those of you that think we're going into the world between worlds, and this is going to be an alternate universe, and all of this other stuff. It's not happening. It's not.
The people making those criticisms are the same people that have rose-colored glasses about the EU, which
Yeah.
which
And,
as we've
and to those
established,
people, to those people, I say, get in the dragon gear.
Get in the mouth. Those are the people that you want in the mouth.
And if you want to get into the canon novels, but you want to be as far from the sequels as physically possible, boy, do we have a book series for you.
It's called The High Republic.
It's the High Republic.
I gotta tell you something, Matt. I hope you get into this series at some point.
Mhm.
It is incredible. It is so good.
It is
bonkers. We have fist pumped. We have screamed in cheers. We have screamed in agony and pain. We have laughed. We have cried. And we keep coming back for more.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be doing some major cramming this week to get my shield run for this month done. So I could certainly use some audiobook recommendations. So
Light of the Jedi.
Light of the
Jedi.
Yeah, Light of the Jedi.
You'll see the character that I had for 2 chapters, and 3 years later, I'm still obsessed with her.
I can't believe you are still talking about her.
No, I get it.
No, I get it.
It's on Spotify.
Oh yeah,
it is on Spotify.
A lot of audiobooks are on Spotify.
Because I don't know about you guys, but Spotify Premium for me is a utility, and you cannot convince me otherwise. So,
oh no, it is.
Yeah, it's basically like my water bill. So I could absolutely. 23 bucks for an audiobook, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, do that on Spotify. I will say this, like, if you can easily do just the adult novels for phase 1 and like know what's going on. I highly recommend the young adult novels because they do fill in a lot of the gaps.
Right.
The middle grade novels, as cute and fun as they are,
not as necessary.
Yeah, they're not as necessary. There is an
I hate to say it. I love Vernestra. I love Lula and Ram, but it's not as necessary to the overall plot.
It's really not as necessary. There is a comedy point of just like the contrast between Ram's perspective on events and Ty's.
So there's
I love Race to Crash Point Tower so much.
That is one thing that I really like about the High Republic, and it really drives home the idea that has been with Star Wars from the very beginning, which is that Star Wars is supposed to be kind of a mythology, and it's not like a set in stone retelling of events, whatever. And you get the most of that, in my experience, in the High Republic, because you will sometimes have books taking place in the same place in the same time, and you are having different characters' perspectives on things.
Yes.
And different authors' interpretations of things. So you will even have a scene with 2 characters in adjacent jail cells. One of them remembering it as like, she was so cool and she was saving the day and she was a badass. And then the other character's perspective is like, and then I got out of prison and I moved on to the next thing.
And then there was this kid
and
that was sitting right there. And I gotta
Go ahead.
I gotta say this. Race to Crash Point Tower and Midnight Horizon might easily be 2 of the funniest books in the High Republic.
Toss in Escape from Valo, and you've got
Escape from Valo.
Baby.
Oh yeah. Because all I gotta say about Race to Crash Point Tower is Bonbrax and the Drengir calling everybody meat was just amazing. And then Ram trying to convince the Drengir to eat the Nihil instead of Ram and his buddies, which is amazing.
The High Republic is The High Republic is like my #1 recommendation
And
for
then
people getting into canon because it's got something for everyone.
And then there's 2 scenes in Midnight Horizon that gets me every time. And it's when they go to the meeting and Ram and Wreath are dressed as the Scarlet Skulls, and Comac and Cantum recognize them immediately.
Comac
And
and
they
Cantum? Oh, you mean Master Ponytail and Master Mutton Chop?
Yes, exactly. It's great because like they walk into the room and Cantum and Comac are like, "We know who these 2 idiots are."
Yeah.
Like they just give them this look.
This, and like we have the story subplot of just Cantum is talking about their gap year, which is really just their whole year.
Oh, it's great.
If
It's
you want
so
Jedi,
great.
if you want Jedi experiencing romance and that kind of thing, High Republic.
High
Oh,
Republic.
it's great. It's
They're-
great. Go
The
ahead.
love lives of these Jedi are
Mhm.
fascinating.
Oh yeah. It's great.
Horrifying and fascinating.
Oh, so that reminds me, there's another moment, but I'll get to my second one before I get to the third one. The second one is the undercover sting operation with Ram and Wreath, and Ram has that ridiculous accent that's like French meets German meets something else. And like Wreath is like, "What the hell are you doing?" And Ram's just like, "I got this."
The whole that whole
I am committed.
operation. You've got, and I love how Daniel Jose Older thinks. I love how Daniel Jose Older thinks like,
Does.
"Do Jedi know what the value of a credit is? Definitely not."
No.
No.
They definitely don't. They also, you can tell he's a dad and he loves being a dad by the way that he writes for like teenagers.
He does. And he writes them so randomly, and I love it so much. And
But-
then the third moment, I'm sorry, Faye, but the third moment goes back to what you were talking about with Cantum's whole year. Cantum is telling the story of how they left the Jedi Order for a year because they fell in love with a circus performer. And while they're telling this story, them and Comac are on their way to a fight. And
Yeah.
Comac is just constantly asking Cantum about their past love life. And Cantum is just like, "Shouldn't we focus on the fight?" And Comac's just like, "Nah, we're good. Like I'm more
I'd
interested
rather
in this."
not think about the fight right now. I'd rather think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Comac bolts off into the woods at the end of the book.
I love Comac.
Cantum, Comac he's one of like my poor little meow meow characters.
He's a poor little meow meow.
He's going through it. And like, let's be real, he's in academia. Of course he's a poor little
I
meow
love
meow.
Comac so much.
This whole series is just something that I need in my life.
Oh,
Like,
Matt, it is
Oh, yeah.
incredible.
like,
It is
It's
incredible.
insane.
like,
It's
You've got.
like I've got a bunch of stuff to do like work wise that I need to get, and not like work, but I mean like my craft
Yeah.
stuff, because and a new audiobook series would be really great. So I think that
I mean, it has I feel like I'm Stefan from Weekend Update saying like this thing
It
has
has everything.
Yeah, it has
It
everything.
has
It
everything.
has everything. Underage.
oh wait, there's
Jedi
more.
underage drinking.
Yes, I forgot about that.
It has everything. Jedi underage drinking. A
Sentient
rock.
rocks.
A rock, a ship named Vessel. We've got Yoda on Spice.
We have Space
Everything.
McConaughey.
And this is, by the way, this is all in one book.
Yeah, one book.
I'm throwing my Italian hands.
Yeah. It has everything. Killer plants.
Killer plants.
Killer plants. Giant tigers.
'Cause it's
Jedi
not
riding
sci-fi without killer
dragons.
plants.
And then there's phase 2. It has everything.
Also,
Forbidden romance. Polycules.
Forbidden
Polycules.
romance.
can we also talk about the fact that there's like a huge wave of like blaster-resistant beasties lately in Star Wars.
Oh,
Yeah,
have
what's
you
up with
met
that?
Geode?
I'm
'Cause I'm
sorry.
just-
The Vincians can just like magnetically seal themselves to where they just straight up don't get shot.
I
Right?
You know
just
what? Boy,
remember us
what?
talking about that on this show when we were reviewing The Fallen
Yeah.
Star, and we were just like, Geode was just like, nuh-uh, I can deflect this the whole time, nuh-uh.
I
Geode
love that,
feels like
and he has made it a pain in my ass for like a balanced homebrew for the Vincians for Star Wars
He is a
5e. I
pain
have
in
been
the
trying
ass.
to do a bunch of like High Republic era species that we see, and I just can't do the Vincians.
Geode is literally kids on a playground changing the rules of the game mid-game.
I feel like the most important thing about Geode's character, the thing that holds him back the most, is that he cannot move if someone is looking at him or paying attention to him.
He's like the Weeping Angels.
He is.
And he
yeah.
may or may not steal your girl.
Help that
Wait,
he's got
so
such a magnetic personality.
Eric Faye, have you been reading Dr. Lydia Kang's insider stories for Phase 3?
No, I need to.
No.
Guys,
I
keep
need
doing
to-
your thing.
because
I will
it's-
be right back.
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
Because it focuses on Pika and Joss. And
Oh,
this
no.
isn't like
Are they
this isn't-
unpacking the Geo?
Huh?
Are they unpacking
And
the Geo incident?
they're not, but it just made me think, because like this isn't a huge spoiler. This is set up pretty quickly in the first
Yeah.
in the first of these short stories. But Pika is pregnant during all of this. And I just had the thought, like, what if it's Geo?
I don't
Oh,
think
bye.
I know it
it's
isn't.
his mating
I
cycle,
know it
though.
isn't. I know it
That's
isn't,
several
but
years
it
away.
should be.
Oh my.
The fact that I remember Jared's mating cycle.
Faye. Faye.
No,
Can't help
they're
it was
right.
explicitly commented on in the book, and that's why he's
It
just
was
like, I'm
explicitly
spoiling.
commented on.
All right. So let's go through comics.
Do we think? No, let's talk about Geo and his Pon Far. Let's talk about
Are
that.
we seriously calling it Pon Far?
Yes.
That's what I'm calling it.
Anyways, let's get to comics.
Dark Empire is good. Crimson Empire is good. I would actually say Star Wars Legacy is a great jumping on point for Legends, really, because that's Cade Skywalker's story.
Can I be so honest?
Oh yeah.
Original Marvel run. I do think it's just so fun to go back to.
And those are all in Omni format too. So
Mhm.
you can get all those in omnibus format.
Yeah.
That is a selling point.
Yeah.
The thing that got me reading Star Wars comics, and I still really only do it every now and then, is like High Republic, obviously, but like I really liked reading the Darth Vader 2022 run because I really liked Sabe. So I got to see my girl doing things and investigate. The whole Vader looking into Padme's death thing is very fun for me because it is like the whole I have been lied to and people were actively trying to make me worse. I feel used, and this is a really good example of like Vader making the step to what then happens in the original movies.
Yeah. I would even say Charles's run was really good too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But Greg Pak's 2022 run is incredible.
Yeah. The 2020 run.
Yeah, is that the 2020 run?
Yes.
Okay.
The 2020 Darth Vader run is the ongoing.
Yeah.
And I mean, my recommendation for like getting into canon Star Wars comics, for people who like the original trilogy and that kind of thing, for people who like scum and villainy, it's always got to be Dr. Aphra. Always got to be Dr. Aphra.
Amazing.
Because, so, fun fact, my girlfriend had not seen the Star Wars movies.
Mm-hmm.
And like she obviously knew about them, cultural osmosis, whatever.
Yeah.
But the first Star Wars that she like intentionally consumed in any form was the Dr. Opera comics, just straight through. And then when she was like, okay, we should watch the Star Wars movies, I should see them for the first time. When we got to A New Hope, actually no, when we got to Rogue One and Dr. Evazan and Ponda Baba are walking through the streets of Jeddah, she's like, oh, what a crazy cameo! Those guys from Dr. Opera comics. That's so cool. And then they're in A New Hope, and she's like, they were in the first movie!
That's amazing.
She just thought that they were like weird one-off villains from Dr. Opera. No, those
No.
are...
Dr. Opera is fun.
Yeah.
It is fun.
It really
and
is.
It's yeah, I would... It's a lot to like go through, but it is like... I think it's fun if you want to get more of the scum and villainy of Star Wars.
I actually like Alyssa's run better than the first run, honestly.
I loved Alyssa's run. I loved Alyssa's run. They're such a good writer.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
like
I like the first series. Yeah. I like the first series, but I like.
I think both are great.
Yeah.
I will say I definitely recommend whenever someone's like, "How do I get into Dr. Opera?" Like I see people talking about her, and I don't know how to get in. I always recommend that they, instead of starting with like skipping around from comic to comic, trying to piece together her story between all of the early runs that she was in, I just said, listen to the audio drama,
yeah,
and then read the first Dr. Opera comic series, and then read the second one.
Yeah,
I think my favorite element of that whole series is how she's able to playfully sass Vader the way she does without just getting completely eviscerated, you know? And it's just like that element. I think it's cool.
It's so perfect, and once again, part of that subgenre of Vader going on buddy cop adventures.
No, I think what Star Wars has made very clear is that Vader actually likes having someone around who doesn't take him too seriously.
Right.
Yeah, that's that Anakin Skywalker showing.
Right, like
Tarkin,
Palpatine, Afra, Thrawn are all people who like he lets get under his skin because he needs to be reminded that he has skin.
Yeah. Although, like with Thrawn, it was very much deep in denial. I have so many thoughts about that book. I'm gonna hold them back.
Right. We'll talk about it sometime soon. I would also say another great canon comic, the Poe Dameron comic series, was incredible.
Yes.
That's another one for like if you like the sequels but want to know why the hell things are the way that they are.
Right.
The Poe Dameron comic set it up.
Yeah.
That went like 25 issues, I think.
Yeah, it was a solid run.
Yeah, it was a solid run. I'm still waiting for the Omni.
Yeah, there was never an Omni for it. That's weird.
Rumor is it's in the pipeline.
I believe that. But yeah, it's a really good series. Highly recommend.
I would also go ahead.
There's a lot of flack for the after Phil Noto left Angel Unzuela's art. I really like his art. But that's just personal preference.
I love Phil Noto's art. I think Phil Noto is like one of the best artists working in comics today.
Phil Noto goes without saying. He's phenomenal.
and his artwork for the Poe Dameron comic was just absolutely incredible. And then I would also have to say Bounty Hunters was a lot of damn fun.
Oh yeah. Every time I see something about bounty hunters, I'm like, yes, my friends are getting emotional damage with their blowbows.
Yeah. It's okay. We're no longer getting emotional
I have through osmosis of Star Wars Twitter, found out so much about these books.
Yeah, Bounty Hunters is really good.
again, another one for like if you like Scum and Villainy.
Yeah.
If you watched Empire and you saw the bunch of random scrap metal and costumes that they pulled out of back storage and threw onto some people on the bridge of that Star Destroyer. If you thought they looked cool, boy, do I have a comic run for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is emotional damage to the 9th degree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to know about how that silly little bug man bounty hunter, about he was abused as a child and kicked out of his family home?
Ethan Sachs will tell you.
Genuinely, Star Wars comics is when you really get into the never beating the Glupshido allegations.
Never beating the Glupshido allegations.
Those comics. And I would also say Charles's current Star Wars run is really good too.
Yeah.
But the
You want to
problem
know
is,
where?
but the problem is that there's so much to it. Like, just wait for the. I mean, pick them up in trades or just wait for the omnibus to come out. Honestly, because
Yeah.
that's going to be the better way to read these runs.
Yeah. Only reason I'm still reading that month to month is momentum at this point. I enjoy it. It's just I have to remind myself of what it is, especially because there's so many characters that it follows.
Yeah.
And it'll be like one arc that's following Leia and Lando, one arc that's following Luke, one arc that's following Leia and Lando, one arc that's following Luke. So like you could just wait to pick up the trades and then pick up like, oh, I just want the Leia and Lando type trades.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's comics. Games real quick. Legends, Old Republic. I would say Knights of the Old Republic. That's the one to get into.
I
play them. They're good.
They are good. I don't think that they're the best beginner thing for for someone who's very new to Star Wars. So like I went in with no knowledge about what was going on in the Old Republic. I didn't know what the Sith Empire was like in the Old Republic. So I was like, who the fuck are these guys? What's going on? and also I would wait until the re-release is done. There are some like really important glitches that are super easy to run into. So like my first run through was ruined by like within like 2 hours by the mission vow glitch, because I went and talked to her before I got that quest line, and then she disappeared and I could not find her again. So I had to restart the entire thing, which is not really helpful if you're just trying to get into this thing. It can really mess up a run. So I actually would not recommend starting with them necessarily until the re-release.
No, I think that's a very fair point. The first ever Star Wars game I played just came out as a remaster, and that's Dark Forces. Kyle Katarn, baby. My boy Kyle Katarn in a first-person shooter. That's the one that I cut my teeth on.
I know for me personally, it was Rogue Squadron.
Rogue Squadron, yeah.
Rogue Squadron was it was amazing. The especially if you got the cheat codes, you could get the Millennium Falcon, get the Naboo Starfighter, turn the V-Wing into a flying, I think it was like a Cadillac Seville or something like that. You know, shooting down TIE fighters in a flying Cadillac's a great entry point into Star Wars.
Yeah.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Again, Star Wars is ultimately camp, and there's nothing campier than that.
Exactly.
You're not wrong.
Speaking of space Cadillacs, Shadows of the Empire with Dash Rendar. Yeah. That was a good one. I would also say, because we're getting those remasters this month, Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2 from the early 2000s were great entry points.
Yeah.
And just wait, because we're all getting on 64-player multiplayer crossplay when those games come out. Yeah.
Oy vey.
Oy vey.
Oh, that's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Canon, I would say Jedi, the Jedi series, honestly, and Squadrons.
Yeah.
Oh, Squadron.
I wish there was a little bit more to Squadrons, but I did really enjoy the core mechanics of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
feel like I definitely got my money's worth out of Squadrons. I've definitely put my hours in.
I think Squadrons is good for like a low plot thing. Just like if you like Starfighters, Squadrons is good. It also has. I love Mary Allen's, so I did buy that game purely for Keo.
Real.
I really feel like though, like they could still be doing updates for it now. Like I would love to see like different ships and different maps from like different times and stuff like that. Like if you call it Squadrons, give us some Clone Wars era stuff. Give us some Old Republic era stuff or High Republic era stuff.
I respect the focus, but
yeah.
Yeah.
They put the Naboo Starfighter in there. I will pick the game back up tomorrow.
Oh, I would so play because Star Wars Starfighter was one of my favorite games as when I was younger. And I played that. I played the hell out of that game on PlayStation 2. It's just, Squadrons, EA, you should have just kept going with it. You really should have, because I would have paid for ships if it meant getting them.
Right?
like I'd pay for E-Wings. Give me E-Wings.
Yeah.
Give me Headhunters. Leah and I love Z95 Headhunters.
Z95.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When I was leaving Coruscant in Jedi Survivor and those Z95 showed up, I was like, why can't I fly them? I know Cal Kestis has to be the one in the Mantis. I get it. I understand. Can I please fly the Z95 instead?
I will say I do have a new appreciation for the Y-Wing though, because if all you watch are like just the original trilogy or or what have you, you kind of get the impression that the Y-Wing is just crap, But the way that they kind of the way that they kind of flesh it out in both Legends and in canon, I enjoy it and I appreciate that, because it's just kind of like it's a workhorse fighter bomber, and it's just nice to see that it's now there to be something other than blown up by TIE fighters, so that the
Rogue One
look good,
Rogue One showcased it perfectly. Honestly, Rogue One showcased it perfectly. Go ahead.
I appreciate that Squadrons has all the main different rebel ships and stuff. As a child who grew up watching and rewatching the Droids cartoon too many times, I am and forever will be an A-Wing first girly.
Valid.
Okay.
So I'm just happy to be next to Ko Venzi in my A-Wing.
So they're an icon.
They're an icon.
So speaking of Squadrons, this puts us to tabletop real quick. X-Wing miniatures.
I've seen it played. I personally have not played it, but I've heard very good things about it.
Faye, you were going to say something.
So I think getting into miniatures is like its own different horse.
It is.
So like that is like if you would like to have an entire hobby that is just that single thing. Because let's be real, you're gonna end up spending most of your paycheck on miniatures. That's the same thing I can see coming with like the Star Wars Legends game, where you are collecting all the figures for your little armies.
You're talking about like Legion and Shatterpoint?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Armada is really expensive too. And Star Wars Unlimited just came out this weekend for pre-release, and that's the card game. And
Yeah.
I really want to play it. But yet I have Lorcana here that I still haven't even played yet.
Right.
Yeah.
If you want an option that is infinitely cheaper, the old, so this is getting into Legends, especially if you use the published adventures and such. The old Star Wars D6 tabletop role-playing game system.
I have gotten my hands on
solid.
physical copies of the first
It's solid.
editions.
It holds up.
Yeah.
It with like very minor tweaking, you can make it fit canon if you want to tell stories in the canon timeline. I'm about to start a High Republic campaign using it. D6holocron.com. It's all there. It's all great.
Nice.
Yep.
The
first edition of those books is really cool to handle. My sword teacher has like all of the Star Wars RPG books.
Ooh.
And so I've gotten to handle and read through the rules of quite a couple of them.
I love that.
It's so cool.
I'm always go for it.
Yeah, I started with like Star Wars 5e because it was a really easy system for both the GM and like the two experienced TTRPG players were like me and my roommate, and all of us have worked a lot with D&D 5e, so we knew the rules in and out. And so since we had a table of 8 other newbies, it was easier for us to essentially have the trainee wheels on them while teaching ourselves a slightly new system. And it's got a bunch of species already built. I have built the Eveready as well as the Anzat for this system. So if you want those, they're not on the site yet. I have them in my little Google Docs.
I am always a sucker for like skill-based systems, which is why I really gravitated to the D6 system. But also, this is going into like stories as entry points. If you want like a solid campaign adventure, Tatooine Manhunt still holds up. From the D6 TTRPG, it's great. And a planet from it is going to be in a book that's coming out not far from now.
April.
April. Living Force.
Yep. I would also say another great entry point is Imperial Assault. Imperial Assault is a good one. That's a lot of fun. We did a furball special when I played it. We had a Wookiee character literally hurl a Jedi into a group of stormtroopers.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I actually I just finished up a campaign last weekend in the system that had been going on since 2022. We started it right after Obi-Wan Kenobi ended. And I pulled in a bunch of the like pre-published adventures and just refit them to the hidden path and that kind of thing. It's a good, robust system. The stories hold up.
Nice.
I will say to the Eric, were you going to say something?
Oh no, go ahead.
Okay. I was going to say to the credit of the X-Wing miniatures game, I am a big fan of taking, continuing with like talking about like the Y-Wing, for example. I'm a big fan of systems that will take seemingly not so great vehicles or ships on the screen and actually giving them a use in whether it's a novel or a gaming system. So like the one ship, surprisingly, that gets a lot of justice in the X-Wing game is the GR-75. So the clamshell, basically space 18 wheeler that is only there to get get blown up, basically, right?
Yeah.
You know, because it's like, you know, the average like the new Star Wars fan getting into it, you know, we'll look at this thing and it's just like, what the hell is this? You know,
Yeah.
what is the point? Why are people taking this into battle? But in the X-Wing mini game, you can bring a GR-75 with your squadron and equip it with an electronics warfare suite.
Yeah.
And suddenly it becomes a mobile e-warfare suite that you can use with your ships. And I was just like, okay, that's interesting, you know?
Yeah, so they also gave the fireball from Resistance, like they gave that a real good upgrade in X-Wing as well.
The fireball?
The fireball is it's Kaz's ship in Star Wars Resistance, which is a wonderful animated series not a lot of people talk about.
Oh, that thing. Okay. Yeah, I've got it pulled up here.
Yeah. And I would also say yeah, like they've done some really great stuff with X-Wing. So we're kind of getting a little bit short on time here. Sorry, we're goofing off way too much, and that's my fault. Um, do we want to talk about Dad Batch real quick?
Yes, I have notes.
Faye, go ahead.
So we got. I was very happy with the ending. I was like, oh, and we had a fun little adventure on the planet Lao as Omega and our good boy Echo, not Echo,
Not Echo.
Sorry.
There's not an Echo in here.
There's not an Echo in here. You know, worked on getting further away after they trashed their ship. After their ship trashed itself, more like. We had a sort of one of my favorite things, which is Echo. I keep on thinking about my boy Echo. I'm
You're
so
off
sorry.
The show.
Which is Omega just being really good at gambling.
Omega's way too good at gambling.
She's so good at it. I love it for her.
Yeah.
But like the reason I ended up taking notes is because it had me thinking a little bit of the Aftermath series with the Stormtrooper design specifically.
Oh yeah.
Because their design, we're still early Empire, so we still expect things to be kind of like pristine and standards are like being kept up and that sort of thing. But like the design of these troopers is really good for the storytelling of like what they're seeing on Lao, which is the corruption. It really reminds me of the degradation of the armor we see towards the Battle of Jeddah, except instead of the degradation of the armor being the new fanaticism of these stormtroopers, it's instead the corruption of the officials. I think it's really good.
No, it really is. Leah?
That was the main reason I took notes, because I was like, yes.
Leah? Got something?
I didn't have anything to say. I was just scratching my face.
Oh, okay. Okay. Matt, anything to add about the episode?
Yeah. So I thought it was fantastic. You know, I do wonder I do wonder if about Crosshair's condition with his hand spasm, whether or not we'll see that crop up more prominently, because we did see it a little bit. There was a moment where he was firing and he kind of like punches his hand and then he goes back to it. So it's like, you know, he's fighting to keep control, and so far he's got a pretty good handle on it. But I enjoyed the episode for what it was. I'm enjoying the kind of the more sinister tone that this season overall is taking. And also just seeing, you know, I'm a big ship guy, so I'm going to come back to the ship designs. You know, seeing the different ship designs, you know, stuff like other than the Lambda class shuttle, and you know, kind of the variety of what's out there is just, I enjoy it. I think it's really cool.
I will say the design of the cargo freighter that they stole at the end was beautiful.
Oh yeah.
It was so cool. Also, can we just so I just have a couple of quick thoughts. I love how for a good chunk of these episodes we've gotten like a focus on Crosshair and Omega, and then like we've bounced to Hunter and Wrecker, and then gone back to Crosshair and Omega, with a little bit of Hunter and Wrecker. But I liked how they balanced those over the first 4 episodes, like where they're just like, all right, now that we've seen what they're up to, we're gonna see what they're up to on this end. Um, so I love that. I love how Crosshair is starting to believe in Omega a lot more than in previous seasons, because he really sees that she, like Hunter and like Wrecker and Tech and Echo, were right about the Empire. He's really starting to see that now, and he's starting to redeem himself. I love that they they try to get Breacher back, and then they decide, well, not only are we going to free Breacher, we're going to free all of the other animals, including a Rathtar, which is going to kill the villain of the episode. And as soon as I saw the tentacle come out, I just said, "Holy shit, it's a Rathtar. This has become the greatest episode of the Bad Batch ever." That, and we hear a Porg. We actually hear a Porg in the background in one of them. So yeah, we got to see a Rathtar, and I love it. And I also love the Jurassic Park feel that we had with it too. Yeah.
Yeah. This is why you don't keep a bunch of animals in cages.
So,
or have a single remote for all of the cages.
I thought we learned this from Force Awakens,
Jurassic World 2,
World 2, Rising Storm.
Yeah. So, speaking of Jurassic World Part 2, I was just thinking, I was like, are we going to get one of those moments from like Jurassic World 2 where they're like, do we let the dinosaurs die or do we let them all live? And I did not want Omega to do that stupid line that girl had in Jurassic World 2 where it's like, they're alive like me, so I got to let them free. Like, I didn't want that. And I'm glad they didn't do that. So glad they didn't go that route. I'm sorry. I can't stand that movie.
You said that the Force will be free, so I need to let the Wargarins free.
Oh my god. Except the Rathtar. The only thing that doesn't escape is the Rathtar. It literally closes the door to its cage.
It felt safe in there, you know?
Yeah. It eats the dude and then closes the door to the cage. And I said, you know what?
It wanted some privacy while it enjoyed its dinner, you know?
Yeah.
And to see the cage rock back and forth and to hear the scream, that just added just so much to it. It was great. It was perfect.
I do really wish that the Imperial officer's last words had been "clever girl," though. You know? That would have been a fun cameo.
I will say I do love how the episode ends with the reunion between Omega, Hunter, and Wrecker, and then Crosshair standing on the platform of the ship, or the loading ramp of the ship. And like you can tell they're so hurt by Crosshair, but like they're so happy to see him.
Yeah, it really is like a visually there's a need for a bridge to be built, and that's why the separation is really good, because that bridge has been broken time and time again.
Yeah.
I will say, just kind of as like a fan speculation thing, because I think this is the last season of Bad Batch that we're getting, right?
This
Yeah,
is.
it is. Yeah.
Okay. I do really hope that they, whether it's in the second last or last season, that Omega meets Boba Fett. I would love to see that. You know, like
Yes.
We were hoping to
just
see her in Book of Boba. We
Yeah.
were really hoping to see her there.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
want some of that.
yeah.
Yeah, looking at you,
Yeah.
Mando episodes.
Give us our reunion.
Well, yeah, we can talk about Book of Boba Fett another time, because I think that keeps getting brought up in conversation. like whenever we talk Star Wars, somehow Book of Boba Fett comes up, and then we start going, "Well, we liked it. We had a lot of fun with it. However, we had our issues."
Mhm.
Yeah, the backdoor pilot was most of my issue.
The
backdoor pilot?
or the backdoor season 3 to Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what, Boba? You're getting your own show, but you're going to be sidelined for 3 episodes.
I think I enjoyed it, although the space mopeds were a little cheesy.
I love Go Vesper Rangers.
I love I love
Go Vesper Rangers.
Love Go Vesper Rangers.
I mean, like, I enjoyed it, but it was just like it being like an uber slow car chase. It was like they could have had them go a little
love
faster.
that.
I love it too. I'm also like, I am from Tucson, so like that is actually something I was like, oh yes, this is exactly what we would fucking do.
That's fair. That's fair.
You know what? That tracks.
Yeah.
So I have to say this, like when it came to when it comes to like the Vesper Rangers thing, like, oh god, now I just lost my train of thought because you guys just brought up some really, really great points. It was Vesper Rangers. I don't know. Come back to me. I'm done. It was Book of Boba Fett, Vesper Rangers. Oh! I know because everybody was complaining about that on Shitter or whatever it's called now.
Been shitter from day one, if you ask me.
I
But...
don't know what it's called. I don't know what to call it, so I call it
It's
Shitter
Twitter.
or Twitter.
Yeah.
But people are now complaining about the spin move again.
Well, so the thing with the mod gang was that the people complaining about the mod gang being out of place in Tatooine are the same people that complain about there being bright colors in medieval movies. When we know for a fact that in medieval history everything was super brightly colored.
Yeah.
So
do I need to get the shorts again?
Right.
I do not need to see medieval booty shorts. I'm sorry.
Oh, are you talking about Braze?
No, I'm talking about my
Fine,
16th
show
century
them.
booty
Show
shorts.
them.
Because I have my 10th century Braze sitting right over there, that shelf behind me. So...
I've got several versions of 14th century Braze and a pair of 16th century Braze. Yeah.
I feel that. I just got new wool hosen in, and
Yes.
they're just
Two are
not
such nerds.
I'm sorry. I didn't catch what you said there.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
You must be this level to come on the show from now on.
I'm sorry. Do we just need to show my type?
No, but people are complaining about the damn spin move. And I'm like, that guy hammed it
I thought we
up.
all
You're
agreed
in
that
Star
spinning
Wars.
is a neat trick.
Yeah.
Thank you,
I'm not
Anakin.
kidding. It's a
Thank
neat
you.
trick.
Thank you, Anakin. Spinning, that's a neat trick.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Leah, when you drive, do you say, now this is pod racing?
No, I say this is where the fun begins.
Oh, well, yeah. California traffic, yeah.
Pretty much anytime I get onto I-95.
Oh,
Oh,
God, that's 695 for me, Matt.
You mean the Formula. Well, what's it? What's the Indy 500? There we go.
Yeah, the Indy 500 around Baltimore.
Seriously, it's like
yeah.
you're doing 95 and a 55, and people will be up your tailpipe doing 120, and it's just like,
why do you stop at a red light and let me hit you doing 80?
Seriously, I can always tell when I'm traveling, when I've gotten back to Maryland, even if I'm not looking at Google Maps, because you can tell by the level of crazy goes way up with driving.
I hate this state for driving.
Seriously, it's like
It's like driving through Houston.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
I just remember, Faye, I was just in Texas. I know about Texas drivers too. So yeah.
Houston is worse.
Oh God, Dallas was
Houston-
pretty bad.
Yeah.
And Houston driving is a combat sport.
Oh, that sounds like Maryland.
Yeah. Maryland I-95, like everybody loves to play bumper cars on I-95, which is dumb because it's a toll road. It's supposed to be faster, but it's. I'm gonna stop myself
Houston's bad.
there.
Yes.
Welcome to the traffic podcast. Now that we're 2 hours into this thing.
Sometimes I'm glad I normally bike to and from work.
God, Leah,
Hashtag telework gang.
Yeah.
Hashtag I gotta drive to work.
Let me tell you, my commute's brutal. Just 2 whole staircases.
Yeah.
What? Just like
Mine's awful. It is a whole yard from my bed.
how do your legs not give out? You know. Eric is just over there like, I hate you both.
As somebody who doesn't have a day off until next Friday, yeah, I do.
Do you have tech support experience? My place is hiring.
Yeah.
Oh God, I wish. Actually, if they could, never mind. We'll talk later.
We'll talk later.
So, like, speaking of jobs, so I worked. Here, you'll find out something fun about me real quick. I don't care that we're 2 hours into this thing. I don't give a shit anymore. You know, we're done. I don't have to be up till 5:30 tomorrow morning. Yeah, I get to sleep in a little bit.
Yay.
Yeah. Anyway, I worked at a miniature golf course for 10 years in Ocean City.
Ooh.
So recently, when we went down for Ocean City Comic-Con, and we saw some of my old coworkers that are still there. They're like, "Hey, Eric, do you want to come back? Like, we're looking for help." And I said, "Can you pay me what my company is paying me?" And then they said, "Well, how much is that?" And I said, "Well, if you have to ask, you probably can't afford it."
Yeah.
I said, "I will gladly come back for what they're paying me."
Mhm.
And they're like, "I don't even get paid that much." So I'm like, okay. And I'm not knocking that. Like, I
Sure.
love those guys to death, and they work hard at what they do, and they're awesome. Like, I love them. They're some of my closest friends. Yeah, that's all I was gonna say. I just thought
It
it was
is what
fun.
it is.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just hard to leave a job that you've been doing for so long.
That's
Yeah.
kind of where I'm at, because like I'm in art brain. My bachelor's degree is in art and design, and so like my foray into the tech world has been me basically kind of going unga bunga and then sucking until I don't. And
Yeah.
yeah.
That is my experience as someone who got a linguistics degree and is now working in tech.
Mm-hmm. It was just like I joke with people. It's like I went to school thinking I could cut it in the graphics design world. That's why I ask people now if they've turned their computers off and on again. And it's but it pays the bills to keep the art stuff a side gig. So
Yeah.
can't really complain too loudly.
And honestly, like, if I could do this full time, I would. Like,
Mhm.
seriously, if I could do
100%.
content creation
Oh, yeah.
full time, I would. If I could podcast full time, I would. But it's just with work and everything. And
Well, and the other issue too is that the like the folks that just kind of blew up doing their thing, that was like a 5-year window from, I want to say, like 2015 to 2020.
Yeah.
It was during
Yeah.
the sequels. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
We don't
I've got friends that do the full-time stuff now, and it's like,
Yeah.
I look at their lives, and I'm over here like actually kind of being thankful for mine, like with all the love and respect in the world for them. But it's a thing.
Well, I mean, I also went to high school with people that got like elementary education degrees and political science degrees, and they're still like bartending and stuff, and not even utilizing those degrees.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't want to say college is a bust because college isn't. It really isn't. I mean, if
Right.
you want to further your education, that's awesome. Like,
Mhm.
Sure.
I didn't finish college. That's me. But
I
The,
go ahead,
the
Faye.
the skills I developed in my linguistics program have taken me into the amount of research I do with my medieval hobbies, to the point where I'm being asked to talk at museums, which is a really weird thing to think about.
yeah.
That's really cool.
But it's cool though because you're utilizing what you went to school for and all that stuff. Like Matt, you're utilizing your art with doing costuming and stuff like that. Me, I'm just a silly guy that works for an airline.
I mean, hey, the airline industry pays well, you know. Because at the end of the day, work is work, you know.
It is. It pays the bills.
Because like, if I was given the opportunity to go full time with my crafting stuff, I still probably wouldn't.
No.
Because like I would be taking a massive pay cut to work my way up to making the kind of money that I already make right now.
Yeah.
So
that's the same with me.
Right.
That's why I couldn't leave.
It's also burnout in the art spaces is a major issue. So it's easier to have it as a side gig that you're doing that makes you happy. You don't need to make the thing that you love your source of life.
Agreed. I upped my prices recently because it is a Matt is spending his off hours doing this and doesn't want to tax. It was just like, if y'all want to pay me to do it, I'll do it, but you're gonna pay me to do it.
Yeah.
That's what I've done with my sewing commissions too. I take like 2 or 3 a year, and they are big bucks because they're hand sewn.
Felt.
No, felting is a different skill. Go to other people for that one.
It's a skill set that's come from a different
Leo
farm,
with
you
the
could say.
last minute zinger.
This is why we love her.
I've been hanging out of this one because my degree was in science, and I work at the same lab that I did my undergrad at.
So that's what you mean by split putting mud into pitchers. I was genuinely like, is that a weird way of saying you're a barista?
Yeah, no, I go down to the coast, I pick up buckets full of mud, I bring them back to the lab, I put them in a blender, and then I put them in a pressure cooker, and then
you
put bacteria
serve them
in
with
them.
like a nice, crostini or something.
Yes, and I serve them 2 bacteria.
Instead of buckets of blood, you're buckets of mud.
I am buckets
That's
of mud.
your new name. Buckets of mud. Yep. You got to change it in Discord.
See, I thought you were saying you did ceramics. So that was
you are now buckets of mud.
Yeah, no,
there you go. There it is.
my art stuff is pretty much entirely relegated to the occasional, almost always Star Wars cosplay. Not hand sewn. Sorry, Faye. My sewing machine lives right next to my computer.
Listen, the hand sewn is why the Jorah Malley temple robes have been years in the making.
Yeah. My Lorna D was hand sewn, and then I was like, I don't want to do that again. This is a great experience. Making the Leku hand sewn, great experience. I do not want to do that again.
So, speaking of costumes, I'm actually, if you're looking for a good Star Wars costuming group to join that's still approved and sanctioned by Lucasfilm, but doesn't have like the strict regulations like 501st and Rebel Legion have, I'm part of a group called Jedi Council of America. And it's actually very good for like amateur Star Wars costumers and cosplayers.
I'm in their Facebook group.
Yeah, we so our Maryland group just got invited to a Star Wars thing at the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra in April.
Cool.
And then we also got invited to do costuming at the Delmarva Shorebirds, which is the low A affiliate of the Baltimore Orioles baseball team. And it's like half an hour from my old hometown. And we're doing that on May 4th for their Star Wars night. So
Oh, that's so cool.
That's
yeah,
cool.
and I get to do my droid builder again for both of them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mostly like doing it just for me for now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if I do decide to do a little more with it, I will keep that in
Yeah.
mind.
I can always send you guys like the Facebook links and stuff like that because yeah, it's a great organization. Like they work with 501st and
Right.
Saber Guild and Rebel
Yeah.
Legion and all that stuff.
Yeah, honestly, what I've been eyeing, and this is mostly from my like science background, is the droid builders
Mm-hmm.
one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Droid building
'Cause-
is so much fun.
Droid building looks super cool. I could not do it. I do. Fun fact about me: I'm actually secretly really good at science. Physics is the only science I failed. Despite that, I'm really good at chemistry.
Physics was my bachelor's degree.
So
Physics was my bachelor's degree, chemistry was my minor, and biology is my day job.
there you go. So the rough part about building a droid is like it costs a lot of money and takes a
Yeah.
lot of time to do it.
It's like
Yeah.
10,000, isn't it?
Oh,
Something
it's
like
at
that?
I mean,
least
it
10,000.
varies from droid to
Yeah.
droid. Because I wouldn't be going in for an astromech as much as I love astromechs.
No.
That is not.
What
Mhm.
about a little gonk?
I was just about to say that.
You know what one I had in my mind, and this is High Republic specific, is Scoot.
Oh, from Young Jedi Adventures.
No,
Scoot.
that's art. Give me a second. So Scoot is the one from High Republic Phase 2. Is Taserix droid? You know what?
Oh yeah.
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 No. You said you were thinking of RJ-83.
Yeah, RJ-83. Yeah. A lot of those droids run together. Yeah.
Come on. I'm turning off my fancy background,
So you can see
Sorry,
things.
we're almost done here. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
that we've gone
I'm
over
sorry
again.
for.
No, Leah, you're fine. I'm the one at fault. You're good.
I mean, we can fully just go into the voice chat in the Discord after this and continue talking about our little costumes.
Absolutely. I mean,
Oh, I love that.
So this is the RJ-83, who is part of my Nash Durango cosplay. And he's got magnets on his underside so he can stick to my back.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Like RJ.
Okay.
Did we lose buckets of mud?
I think we lost buckets of mud.
No, not the buckets of mud.
Buckets.
Oh no,
buckets.
Is missing, presumed dead. The little Starlight beacon, sick humor there for a second.
Yeah, right.
It's okay.
Faye?
Leah.
Oh, wait, you're Faye.
Leah?
Leah. See, this is
bad
what we
with
did
names,
with
I'm
you
sorry.
last week.
Yes,
this is exactly what we did with you last week.
Leah!
Leah! It's okay.
It's okay.
I mean, if we have to end the show without Leah, we'll end the show without Leah. Yeah, there we go.
Yep.
Yeah, we just
There we
lost
go.
Leah. The buckets of mud have become a casualty.
Yes.
Missing, presumed dead.
That's what I just said. Yeah, that's That's it. I'm so sorry that we went over again tonight, guys. I
Nothing to
apologize.
apologize
We
for.
get really happy when we get to hang out with like multiple people.
So I just had a general hangout today with a bunch of friends. We were playing Mario Kart, and then we wrapped it up with iDark Overlord, and then we went
Ooh.
straight into this. So as far as I'm concerned, my day's been great. So
Yeah, I went from doing a High Republic era one shot to this, so like I've been thriving.
Nice.
I just, it's just one of those things where, and this will be the last thing we say for the audience, and then we'll call it. We do this to, not only for you all, but we do this to hang out with each other. And tonight we
Yeah.
didn't really have a lot of viewers, and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's a-okay. We're not always gonna have bangers, to quote the kids. But we do this for each other. We do this for you because this is about all of us together.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay, Leah. It's okay. Her Wi-Fi blipped out.
Oh.
Yeah.
I will also say this too, like as a teleworker, sometimes the isolation can get a little maddening. So
Yes.
Going 20 minutes over on a live stream where I'm having a great time talking to people,
Yeah.
I'm not losing sleep over it.
Not
I'm
a huge
enjoying it.
deal. Like the reason why I had the one shot was because I like my car's in the shop. I can't like go to events or like go to as many events that I've been doing. So I needed to be around people for several hours, and doing the one shot helped.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I don't have anything else to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it for us this week. I may take the next couple of weeks off just until we can get, schedules rearranged and stuff like that.
For what it's worth, I'm going to be at AwesomeCon next weekend, and then next Saturday, and then the Saturday after that, I'm going to be running the Roman camp at Military Through the Ages. So I will be indisposed.
Yeah, and Faye, I know that you're busy for the next 2 weeks too, which is all good.
Yeah, I could potentially do like send in a video, especially because we will have a new High Republic book out, and I will want to send in my thoughts, but those are going to be like a video that you can present to people from like the middle of Mississippi, because I will be at Gulf Wars. And
oh, so you're going to be with Ahmed Best doing Call of Duty Black Ops Gulf War. There we go.
I am going to be repping the 14th Century Mafia for the weekend.
Okay, yeah. I'll see if we can insert that. I'll talk to Activision about inserting that into the game.
You know what? That's the secret that Ahmed Best is holding on to, is that Faye is going to be in the next Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Faye, you're going to be in the next Call of Duty?
I mean, listen, y'all figured it out.
Call of Duty, Faye.
Yeah, I see Faye with an M4 now just running around in Call of Duty.
M4, give them an M249 saw. Like, just go full machine gun, right?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's
Black
ready
Ops
for that.
Faye War. The Call of Duty Faye Ops.
the war that was always fated to happen.
Yes.
I just throw I just throw
What do the numbers mean, Faye?
Bullets at people like a pommel.
Yeah, there you go. What do the numbers mean, Faye? Tell me about the numbers, Faye.
Faye, what are you doing? My job.
Yeah. Right. I guess I'm in. Are you gonna have like a cigar like in your mouth too? Like you're gonna wear the Rambo headband?
We're just slowly turning Faye into Duke Nukem here.
Yeah. They just flicks a cigarette butt at somebody during Gulf Wars. Just says, "I got this.
I got this.
I got this." Let's have a shall we do? Flick.
Allow me.
Allow me. Bust out 2 swords.
It would probably just be a long sword, let's be real.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna be off the next 2 weeks. Got vacation and stuff like that. Here comes Leah. Leah, you're just in time for us to say goodbye.
Awesome. Happy to say goodbye.
Yes.
You
So
say goodbye. I
I
say
say
hello.
anyway, yeah, that's the show. Hope that you enjoyed it. I got nothing. I'm done.
Yeah. Well,
That's all,
remember, we are all the Republic. We fight
Yeah, thank you
for light and life,
for
and
light
we
and
will
life.
see you after our little mini vacation.
Yes, yes. And live long and prosper if you're into that sort of thing.
Yeah.
This is also my favorite podcast on the Citadel. You know, all that stuff. You know.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ride the storm.
Ride the storm.
Ride the storm.
No. No. I'm going to give you a gift freely given of getting out of here.
Okay.
Logging you out on Minibomb?
Yeah. Anyway, that's it for us. Have a wonderful
Lord.
couple of weeks, everybody. We will be back in 2 weeks' time. See you later.
Take care, guys.
There we go. Bye.